Yes, team, how you doing? Hopefully by the time you guys are watching this video, I will be fully on the road to recovery and back in touch with you all. But likewise, didn't want to leave you guys hanging all week and wanted to make sure that we're still getting a training in on the Thursday. So this week, we're going to focus on the big problem, okay? So the more you guys let me know what you need help with and what you know what the problems are, the more I can kind of strategically plan these trainings to help them. So the big problem that's coming up time and time again, essentially, is the plateau. So when we feel like something's been working, we've seen results for a certain amount of time, and then everything seems to have stopped. We don't know why, and we don't know where to go. Okay, so potential reasons why this happens. Now, I could have actually written upwards of 20 of these, as you'll see how this training pans out. But I've actually focused on three main problems that we need to find the solution for. Three main problems why it happens, okay? So number one is our metabolism. Okay, again, a word we hear said a lot, but I guess a lot of people don't actually know. In fact, I'm assured many people ask the question, should it be my metabolism? But they're unsure what the metabolism actually is if we dig a little bit deeper into it, okay? So our body weight is directly related to the rate at which we burn calories. That's essentially what the metabolism is, okay? So when we lose weight, the metabolism will lower, okay? And we'll burn fewer calories than we did when we first started out. Very simple terms, okay? So that could be the reason. We've lost weight. This means the metabolism has lowered, so we're burning less calories doing the same amount of exercise than we did when we started out because we weigh 3 stone less. That potentially could be a reason why we plateau. However, it's never the one that I go to. It's never the place that I look, okay? Now, a plateau essentially is when we've hit a point where the calories that we are burning equal exactly the same as the calories are we're consuming. That's when a plateau occurs, if a plateau has actually occurred. Many of you think you are plateauing when you're not, okay? But there is a big risk here because we only need to plateau for so long in anything. It might be an investment into a business. It might be a member of staff. It might be a membership subscription. It might be a coaching service like this, okay? We only need to plateau at something for so long if we don't have the correct help and support, and we will then just quit, abandon the plan, look for something new, try something else, okay? And then we end up in that hamster wheel, don't we? So the second problem, so number one could be the metabolism. The second potential reason is adherence, okay? Or false, inaccurate tracking. You guys hear me say time and time again, there is only ever two reasons why people don't succeed. And it's because they're either not tracking and weighing their food as accurately as they say they are, or training as hard as they think they are, which means they're not in a deficit, or they simply haven't done it long enough, okay? It's only ever one of those two reasons, I promise you that, okay? So are you really accurately weighing all your food, accurately tracking it, making sure the settings are right on MyFitnessPal, doing it professionally, doing it 7 days a week, okay? Accounting for milk in tea and coffee, weighing butter, weighing peanut butter, okay? Weighing your protein powder rather than working on a scoop. Many things here can add up to the reason why we're actually plateauing, okay? Have you fallen into the habit of having 5 really good days and 2 slightly looser days? Have you even fallen into the habit of having a good week, bad week? Like we discussed last time, very often we have a bad week and then we have 2 really good weeks, but we convince ourselves the 2 weeks was much longer because we've worked so hard. I don't seem to be going anywhere. I'm plateauing, okay? When essentially all we've really done is 1 week, because the good week before wiped the bad week out before that. Okay, so very often people aren't plateauing, but normally it's because we're not actually being as strict as we say we are, if we're really honest and look really deeply into it. Okay, it could be something as little as you're actually having 300 to 400 milliliters of milk in coffee throughout the day, which could essentially be 300 to 400 calories, okay, with other little bits. But we'll come on to that because that fits into the solves. Number 3, so the first one is metabolism, second one is adherence, accurately weighing in food, and the third one is adaptation. So you are now fitter, stronger, more muscular, move more efficiently, your body is lighter, you're 10 times better at everything you do, everything's easier, so your body will actually need less calories to do the same job. Okay, so when you initially went for a 5-mile run, it took 1,200 calories and you were flying. Okay, now your body's that efficient, it needs around 700 calories because you've lost weight, you've got fitter, you've got stronger, you've built some muscle, and it doesn't require as many calories before. So that could be the third reason. Okay, the body needs less calories to do what it does before because you're fitter and stronger and lighter. So does that all make sense? It will generally be, like I said, I could have broken all of them out into different areas, but I'm trying to make this as simplistic as possible. So it could be the metabolism, okay, which we'll come on to. It could be your adherence, which we'll come on to, accurately when tracking food. It could be adaptation. So you're just burning a lot less than you used to based on what's happened. Now, hopefully that all makes sense. And we're going to come into the solutions now, because the number one solution that everybody goes to when it comes to overcoming a plateau, false or real plateau, is to reduce food. Now, if this was the answer, all the people in the world with the best bodies would literally be starving themselves, wouldn't they? They'd be on the lowest amount of calories. Okay, Nat would be on like 800 calories. Because every time she hit a plateau, she'd have to just drop food. Because we will all hit plateaus. And that's the trap that everyone falls into. Yes, we can use calorie adjustments to get through certain parts and plateaus, but essentially it's not where we need to look. I've created 17 ideas, 17 things you can take away, 17 things we can implement now, which would be better places to look, because let's face it, who wants to eat less food? Not me. So the solutions, okay, always first and foremost is increase exercise frequency or intensity. So if you can't train for any longer than you already can, the time you do have, train more intensely. Do your steps at 3 times the pace you currently do. Turn the walk steps into a jog, into a run in as fast as you can. Make sure when you go to your 3 gym sessions, your phone is put away, there is 0 distractions, and you push yourself to the brink of passing out on that session. Consistently, every time you go, not just the first 2 weeks of a new plan. And that would be my number 1 tip to overcoming a plateau, and it will work most times. Number 2 is increase the intensity and frequency, maybe not intensity, of food. Okay, eat more regularly. Make sure we're tracking the right foods, but combine, number 1, training more intensely and with higher frequency, with eating a little bit more food more frequently. If we want the metabolism to go faster, we need to work it, not crash it. Taking more food out and training harder will crash it. Only all of the time. Okay, so gently increase some more food, massively increase the intensity. Okay, remember the analogy. If you want a steam train to go faster, you put more coal in. If you want a fire to burn more, you put more wood in. If we want you to get over this plateau, we want to make your metabolism go faster because it's slowed down. This will happen by training harder and slightly increasing food in more increments. Okay. Number 3 is analyze your photos and measurements over time, not the scales. Many people are purely saying, I've plateaued based on the fact the scales haven't moved for 3 to 4 weeks. Essentially, 2 of those weeks probably weren't your best weeks, but you convince yourself you've plateaued. Things need to change. Switch the head the other way. Whatever stopped doing that I was doing before I plateaued, probably tracking food more accurately, being more accountable and training harder. You stopped doing all of those, so you plateaued. So again, sometimes we don't need to look for what it is we need to add in. It's what were we doing well that we've stopped. But analyze measuring your waist, okay? You may well have lost, okay, a full centimetre or inch on your waist. It won't show in photos and it may not show in some of your clothing. So unless you're actually measuring, how do you know you're plateaued? So this would be a first question that I'll ask you. What evidence, if you have plateaued, what evidence are you presenting to yourself that that's true? Because that has to be firm evidence. You would have to stand in a law of court and say, I have plateaued because my waist has stayed exactly the same for 4 weeks. My weight stayed the same. I've analyzed my photos, okay? My hips have stayed the same. All my measurements are identical. My food hasn't changed at all. It's been perfect. My exercise has been exactly the same, okay? The scales say exactly the same. I've drunk the same amount of water every day. My alcohol habits have been identical for the entire 4 weeks. And then at that point, you could present enough evidence to say you've plateaued, okay? The fact that you kind of maybe slightly half-arsely tracked food, it was up and down. You had a few days. We had a couple of boozy nights. We're mainly focusing on the scales. We've stopped measuring ourselves because we can't be asked. Photos are sporadic, blurred, out of focus, different locations, and shit, okay, at best as a description. But yet our mind's saying we've plateaued. We've plateaued. We've got to have the evidence, okay? So analyzing photos, measurements, and accurately doing everything is the next tip to get over a plateau, which will make you realize that you actually don't have one. You haven't happened, okay? Number 4, working on stress, working on reducing stress and managing stress, okay? Things like yoga, meditation, stretching. You've all got a stretch routine, sleep hygiene, solid bedtime routine, okay? Phone off at 8 a.m., not on the phone after 8 p.m. Sorry, off at 8 p.m., not on it before 8 a.m. Protecting the mind, completing my planner so I know what I need to do tomorrow. So when I go to bed, I'm not stressed. I don't wake up thinking, oh my God, I'm so busy today. What is it that I need to do? I wake up and think, I had a really good night's sleep and I know exactly what I'm doing today because it's in my planner, which means I'm not stressed because I just need to follow it. Okay. Cortisol is the stress hormone in the body. Cortisol leads to fat storage, especially in females, especially in the belly area. Okay. So work on managing your stress and reducing it and making sure your sleep's effective. Okay. Yoga and meditation are 2 great places to start, as is cold showers. Number 5, eat more fruit and veg. Again, I could do a full training on this, but you should be having some form of fruit and vegetable or salad, in my opinion, in every single meal, okay? Because it's going to increase fiber, which again is another whole training program of the benefits of fiber. But you should be having somewhere between 30 to 50 grams of fiber again. Again, the internet says 25 grams. I think it's slightly more based on all the people that I've worked with. And also, you know, a guy who's 25 stone is going to need more fiber than a girl who is 8 stone. Okay, so wherever you are on that spectrum, somewhere between 30 to 50 grams, you can't really essentially have too much. It's going to make you full, feel fuller, and it's also going to help with digestion. Okay, so we don't need to overcomplicate it any more than that. Number 6 is lift weights. Lift more weights. Okay, the more muscle you build, the more calories your body will need to look after it and operate it and move it. Okay, so again, adding lean muscle tissue is a great way to get over a plateau. So if you've always been a cardio queen, let's start getting some resistance-based training in. Okay, lifting weights burns calories as well. It also builds muscle. Building muscle means we need more protein to look after it, which means we can increase food, build the metabolism, and burn over more calories on a daily basis, which will help getting over a suspected plateau. Okay, number 7, get up earlier. Okay, have longer days. If you think, how many calories does my body need if it's up and moving at 5 a.m. and it literally keeps moving until 8 p.m. versus it gets up at 5 to 8 and it goes back static at 5 p.m. That's 4 hours of movement. Okay, keep moving more. I'm going to come on to that when I discuss NEAT, but that's another major tip. Just get up earlier. If you get up 2 hours earlier than you have been over time, okay, and you go to bed an hour later and you move more and you still get the right amount of sleep, then the more your body moves throughout the day because you've been up longer, then the more calories you burn. When it's music and I get up at 6 a.m., I won't be doing this anymore, and I get into bed at 6 a.m. the following morning, I've been up 24 solid hours. So we need a lot more food. Longer you're up, more food you'll be, more you'll burn. Again, just getting up 1 hour earlier could essentially get you over a plateau. Number 8 is have a rest day, okay, and a refeed from your diet. If you're someone that's been hardcore dieting for a long period of time and you feel like you've hit a plateau, very often just having not a binge weekend, not a cheat day, not a I'm going to be a dick day, just have a bit of a day off from your diet, maybe a weekend, eat some nice stuff, have a full English breakfast, have some steak and wedges, kind of stay within around about what your calories should be, maybe 500 more. Just have a relaxed weekend off, allow the body to recover, have some extra salts, have some extra sodium, have some extra vitamins and minerals, some sugars, just let it rest for a bit and then come back renewed, okay, with renewed energy. Again, that can be massive for overcoming a plateau. Number 9 is eat less carbs. Don't think you'll have expected me to say that, but it works for many people. Okay, the first place I go to when I begin a cut or a shred is I'll drop out 50 grams of carbs per day. Okay, I get an instant win in terms of fluffiness and how I feel on my body, and I'll drop a bit of water and I'll drop a bit of glycogen stores, and it can also very often just get things moving, okay, if they've stopped a little bit. So again, a couple of weeks dropping your carbs and increasing, I'm only talking about 50 grams, and increasing could get things moving if you've hit a plateau, okay? Number 10, increase your protein at the same time, okay? We don't have to reduce calories, but if we dropped 50 grams of carbs and we increased 50 grams of protein, 1, this will protect against muscle loss, more muscle, higher metabolism. If we're not having enough protein, as so many of you aren't, that means we're not protecting our muscle, which means we'll have a lower metabolism, because the less muscle we've got, the lower our metabolism will be. The more muscle we've got, the higher the metabolism will be. So eat more protein. It will make you feel full. Your body doesn't store it, so you won't see any increases on the scales, and it will look after muscle, which will in turn build a stronger metabolism. Okay? Get your protein nailed, guys. No one's ever going to gain body fat eating too much protein, trust me, unless in an insane calorie deficit surplus. Number 11, avoid alcohol. A lot of people are plateauing, but they're still drinking every week. That could be the reason, okay? Alcohol is a poison, okay? It also has calories in it. It's also the 4th macronutrient: protein, carbs, fats, alcohol. Why is it never mentioned? because we can't metabolize it for energy under any circumstances, okay? It also suppresses fat burning hormones. It also suppresses muscle growth. It also leads to stored body fat, especially in females again, I'm sorry, and hormonally isn't great for fat loss, okay? So avoid alcohol if you're hitting a plateau, or at least reduce it. Number 12, evenly space out your meals and macros, okay? Again, it's slightly different for different people on different plans, dependent on what the goal. But if, for example, I'm going to use this in very simple terms so it makes sense. If you were on 200 grams of carbs, 200 grams of protein, and 100 grams of fat, okay, each of your 5 meals that are evenly spaced out throughout the day should be around about 40 grams of carbs, around about 40 grams of protein, and around about 20 grams of fat. Okay, so almost exactly what a 40-20-20 macronutrient percentage split would be. Why? Because that's how the body performs best. Rather than eating too much carbs, overspilling, then the body still has to keep digesting, that they still have to go through the system, they have to be converted to glycogen to be made readily available for energy. Trust me on this in terms of fat loss, muscle building, everything. It's why every single bodybuilder and athlete eats this way. Okay, think of it more like your body's a race car, okay, and you can only hold so much, and you're going to come into 5 pit stops throughout the day. Okay, racing cars don't pull in and it's like, oh, I'll take on 3/4 of my day's fuel at that pit stop. What happens? Slow, sluggish, can't get going, has to deplete half the petrol before it can even get up to the speed it was before. Okay, again, in a human, blood sugar levels all over the top, all over the shot, eat a big meal, can't focus, can't work, can't train, feel like shit, feel bloated, can't go to the toilet. You know, it has a lot of side effects. So break them down into 5, if you know what that is, break them down into 5 evenly spaced meals as best as possible. And if you've had a habit of not eating for long period, then eating big meals, then having small meals, then snacking, and generally everything being all over the shop, combine that with caffeine and alcohol. If you drink even just caffeine, then you're just chasing highs up and down all day. Your body's never going to feel emotionally well. Your head probably won't feel emotionally well. You'll never be in kind of what's homeostasis, it's called, just a general balanced level feeling of well-being. And that could really, really help. So evenly space your emails out, okay? Increase your NEAT, okay? NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT. Basically how much you move in the day outside of doing any extra steps and exercising. So set an alarm, get up every 10 minutes from your desk, go for a walk, get some water, do some squats, do some stretches, do some lunges, move as much as you can in 10 minutes, feel refreshed, your energy will go through the roof, drink some water, listen to a song for 5 minutes, lift your mood, get back to your desk, okay? That will help you get over a plateau. But I know for a fact some of you are still sitting at desks for 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 8 hours and barely moving anywhere apart from to eat or to go to the toilet, okay? Move more, set a reminder in your step. Number 14, I said this one already, but I'm going to reiterate it. More fruit, more vegetables, more salads, okay? Not only are they full of fiber and they will keep you full, and they're generally carbohydrates that don't really get stored, they're also full of all the micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals, antioxidants that the body needs to be healthy, and will supplement the fiber that we spoke about earlier, okay? Again, you know, you're never ever going to gain loads of body fat eating too much vegetables, too much salad, or too much fruit within reason, okay? Number 15, be honest. Most of us are. I'm very often not, okay? Watch out for all the bites, the licks, the tastes, the coffees, the nibbles, the little bit of toast, the little bit of pizza, and all the little things that add up, okay? The quick sandwich from the garage that we forgot about, okay? The carb killer bar that we didn't track, the leftovers of the partner's or the child's meals, okay? Watch out for those, because I've analyzed people that have really been struggling at a high level, that had absolutely convinced themselves that they were completely nailing every single aspect of their diet, macronutrient wise, grams of protein, carbs and fats, calories per day. And when we really, really, really dug deep, they weren't. They were over 500 calories out every single day. Things that weren't tracked, things that weren't forgotten about, teas and coffees. Okay. Sometimes I have to go very deep asking questions. And then the person will literally, oh yeah, I forgot I had that. Again, those of you that aren't, I do this all the time. Okay. I'll fess up. So I'll come downstairs and I'll say to Nat, I don't think I've actually had that much food today. Because why? Because I haven't put anything in my Fitness Pal since breakfast. So I'll get Fitness Pal out and I'll say, what did I have for dinner? And she'll say, I did your waffles, chicken, steamed fresh packet of veg, pretty much what I eat every day. So I'll put that in. So I had for breakfast. What have I just had now? Baked potato, fish and vegetables. And if you put that Trek bar in you had after training, oh no. What have you taken the shake, put the shake in that you took up for your live? Oh, fucking hell. You had a cheese sandwich in the car on the way back from CrossFit that I got you from set. Oh, fucking hell. Like for a night, I'm like, yeah, I was actually sat there at 6 o'clock thinking I can have an evening treat. No, I'm actually 3,200 calories, which was roughly about 1,200 more than I'd eaten today because I forgot about the Trek bar. I forgot about the packet of mini cheddars. I forgot about the cheese ploughman sandwich and I forgot about the protein shake. Okay. If that happens to me, it happens to you or some of you. Okay. So again, that's number 16. Okay. Is be honest. Make sure we're honest. Bites, licks, tastes, coffees, sandwiches, not tracking, not planning ahead, missing a couple of days. Again, I know after you've done your check-in saying that you're plateaued. Okay. And there's 2 to 3 full days per week when there might be one thing put in. And don't come at me with that. I know exactly what I ate and it was exactly right. Bull crap. Because if I'm not good enough to do that, none of you guys certainly are. No offense, but I've been doing this 20 years. Okay. That could be one of the key places again. And it builds into what we said at the start. Number 17 and the final tip to help go with plateau is complete your planner. Okay. It forces you to check. Okay. How many calories have I done today? It's there for that reason. Oh, fuck. I haven't done my Fitness Pal today. Okay, well, at least now I can go and do it because I got to the end of the planner and it made me realize, and now I can complete it because it brought it to my awareness. Again, how many days have I been alcohol free? Oh, Jesus, I've put none 3 days on the trot. I'm drinking too much. It's brought it to my awareness. Okay. I'm mentally unwell this week. I haven't done any personal development. It's brought it to my awareness. So again, we very often, when we are plateauing, like I said, the initial place where people look is, oh, I have to reduce my food. My nutrition must be wrong. I must need a new plan. I must need things freshening up. It's either you were doing something really well that you've stopped doing, or normally there's something that you're not doing as well, as intensely, as consistently, or as accurately as you have convinced yourself you are. Okay. So I hope that's been really, really helpful today. Drop me some comments. Let me know which ones work best for you. But like I say, yeah, it's very often we haven't actually plateaued. We've either stopped doing something that we were doing really well and become a little bit slack, if we're honest, or because of adaptation, it's now time to step up and work harder. Okay. This means moving more, getting up early, burning more calories, exercising harder, more intensely, drinking less, eating more veggies, potentially reducing carbs, eating more protein, being accountable, doing the planner and channeling all that together. Trust me, is going to rocket your life forward much more than you thinking you need to eat 100 less calories and change your macronutrients. Okay. Because essentially it's all a guess to a limit. Food waste will be 25% out. Tracking will be 25% out. Scales can be slightly out. So it's all just a very close guideline. It's not exact. So 100 calories, is that going to make a big difference? Probably not. Okay. Is implementing all of those 17 points that I've just given you is going to have a world-class and epic impact on your life, and I believe will smash you past any plateau. Let me know how helpful this has been in the comments, and the next time I see you, I'm going to look a bit different. See you soon.